Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the OT Unleashed podcast. I'm your host, Eric Johnson, and I'm super excited because today we're actually going to be kicking off a brand new series that is something that's going to be new, and hopefully we see this kind of coming more and more to OT Unleashed, but also a lot of you guys know that I have kind of started this whole kind of movement of the Rehab Arcade. And so today I'm going to be introducing you to my brand new capstone student, Katie Peterson. Welcome, Katie.
Hello, thank you, Eric.
You're welcome. So Katie's actually kind of approached me about doing this capstone series, and we'll get into this a little bit more. But she's from Old Dominion University, and they have a really cool kind of mindset of kind of what capstones could possibly be. So before we get into all that, I want to know a little bit more about you, Katie. Like, talk to the audience. Like, tell us a little bit about yourself and why did you, I don't know, come to pursue a career in occupational therapy?
Absolutely. So, like Eric said, I'm currently an occupational therapy student at Old Dominion University. I'm actually part of their inaugural cohort, so I will be the first graduating class, which is super exciting. But I always knew that I was just drawn to a field that I really wanted to help people, help them participate in everything that they would want to do, anything that was meaningful to them, and how we could adapt to any challenges or barriers that people might have in their lives. And ever since I kind of had that vision, I just really tried to find a field that would fit that mold perfectly.
Yeah.
And then personally, my dad was actually diagnosed with Parkinson's, and that's kind of how I got drawn and found out more about occupational therapy and saw the benefits that he had and how much they were helping him be able to participate in all the things that he really wanted to do. So I learned a lot from his therapist personally and kind of went through that rabbit hole of, oh my gosh, these people are really making such a big difference in people's lives, and really emphasized creativity, problem solving, and that client-centered care, which just really made me really excited. So as I learned more and more about this profession and how much it impacted across the lifespan, I was really drawn to it. And
locked in,
I really did lock in, and I was ready to pursue this dream. So I'm super excited that I'm about to finally graduate and be a part of Old Dominion and start this capstone series.
Yeah, well, speaking of it, like, you have to finish the capstone before you can graduate. So that said, your capstone or this podcast series is actually a part of your capstone. So tell us about your capstone itself, and then how does the podcast series fit into that?
Absolutely. So when I started at ODU, I really wanted to do something a little bit different. And I kind of went down this rabbit hole of, I found a lot of information about adaptive video gaming, and I read so many articles, looked at so many things about the benefits. However, so many people weren't using it because it's just new and technology is ever changing. So after I kind of discovered that, I really thought, how could I get this information out there to people? And how could I make this more interactive and more fun? And with the upcoming popularity of a podcast series, I thought it would be an awesome approach to kind of relay some of that knowledge and information and kind of advocate for the use of adaptive video gaming and video gaming for a therapeutic use. So through great discussion and connection, I got the opportunity to talk to you and learn more about your everything that you've been doing with the Rehab Arcade and really trying to push gaming as a therapeutic activity and exercise and all the fun stuff that comes with that. So I thought, if we could take this information and kind of give it a way that people could just listen in and not have to necessarily like read or anything like that, that we could just really start to push that information out there.
Well, that's cool. So like, I know that we kind of talked about this, and you mentioned, people get their information a little bit different these days, right? I mean, like, it's not like everybody is like reading research articles. I mean, of course, you're an OT school, of course you have, but a lot of times we get our information via kind of this type of medium, and I think that it was really neat. And I love that Old Dominion was like, hey, look, we're looking kind of outside the box. Like, doctoral work could be whatever we need it to be, as long as it's scholarly, I think we're going to check a lot of the boxes. So this is really cool. So, so that said, what would you say that the main purpose of the podcast series would be? Like, what are you trying to get out to people that will make it sound scholarly? I mean, not sound, but actually scholarly, and, you know, can really kind of fit for that.
Right. Well, I just wanted to provide like a format that would be accessible and be able to educate people. So the main reason and purpose of this podcast series is to really highlight those key points of how we can use adaptive gaming, how it can be beneficial, kind of be able to translate to therapists or even people who are going to be using our clients,
Yeah.
different ways that we could help them. So we'll be going over some of the evidence behind it. So, you know, I'll be reading the articles and
Yes.
telling everybody about them. We'll be going over how to use the switches, what's the best and most coming thing out there, how can we make this more accessible,
Yeah.
and just really going over those key points of how we can start implementing this more into today's very technologically advanced society.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah, and that's happening so quick. So it's nice to kind of just be on the front end of that. So, I mean, you mentioned adaptive gaming. Like, are you a gamer? Like, were you a gamer? Like, what got you into like, I don't know, interested in adaptive gaming, just like in general? Like, what was that?
So
What's
I'm
that story?
I have never truly been a gamer myself. I have two brothers that have always tried to push me to play the games with them, but I think they really just wanted to play so they could beat me and everything. But really, what drew me was when my dad started talking to me about, hey, my therapists are starting to use gaming, and he is a diehard like 80s video games,
Yeah.
arcade game kind of guy.
Yeah.
And I saw how motivated he was and how beneficial it really was for him. And so just seeing that, I was like, dang, like I don't know how they would have gotten him to do all these fine motor things, but they put a little joystick in his hand and he started doing things. And
Wow.
I thought
Yeah.
that was so awesome. So I kind of
Yeah.
went down the avenue there. And ever since I saw that, that's what's really drawn me to adaptive gaming and video gaming itself. So I have a little bit of background in just playing with games with my brothers growing up, but
Yeah.
I've really dived into it more as I've been older and trying to figure out like, oh, how can I use this therapeutically and
Yeah.
how can that be beneficial? But
Yeah. Well, this is cool because, you know, this will, you know, not only do you get an opportunity to kind of share like your firsthand account of how it has helped, but also like, you know, you're going to be learning a lot this, you know, this whole series as well. So that'll be kind of cool for both of us to, I mean, well, our whole audience really to kind of get this bigger picture of the potential for gaming and not only for accessibility, but therapeutic use as well. So this is like so many awesome opportunities here that I'm excited to discuss. So, you know, at the end of the day, you know, we're going to probably like put out 15, 16 episodes, and they'll be coming at you rapidly. So you guys be ready. But what would you say that, like, what's your hope that, you know, at the end of the day, what the listeners take away from this podcast series? Like, what do you want that to be?
for sure, absolutely. So I really just hope that our listeners come away feeling more curious and empowered rather than intimidated by using video games as a therapeutic use or practitioners being super stressed about the logistics of everything. I just want
Yeah.
OT students and clinicians to feel more confident in exploring adaptive video gaming. And I want gamers with disability to feel supported and seen and provide viewers with relevant information that will help them begin exploring and utilizing video game into practice.
Yeah.
I just want to normalize that gaming is a meaningful and potentially therapeutic occupation and just really get a more widespread adoption of it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, obviously, you've got me sold because I mean, this is what I do. So, well, what does that look like, though? You kind of mentioned, you know, some of the things, and you kind of almost you talked a little bit about regulation and like almost like you know documentation or like billing or whatever. But like, what can the listeners expect? Like, you know, give us. You know, I don't know, a little teaser of what these episodes are going to look like and what they might hear over the next few months.
Absolutely. We have a lot of super exciting topics, maybe a little more than we might be able to get out there, but I'm just thrilled about it. We're going to be covering a lot throughout our podcast. So we'll be diving into topics such as specifically looking at the Rehab Arcade, which hopefully will be our next podcast, which I'm super excited about. We're looking at adaptive controllers, switches, mounts, and positioning, the whole OT evaluation process, really diving into that client-centered care, and the potential benefits of looking at therapeutic gaming and how this might support people, and really looking at what is new and exciting. Like we talked about a little bit, technology is forever changing. So let's look at how things have changes from over the couple years. Like how have switches and controllers adaptive, and how is it going to be in the future, and how can we continue to implement that and support adaptive gamers? And I would really like if, any of the viewers have any ideas themselves, they can also leave a comment and maybe we could touch on that as well.
Yeah, cool. And I definitely think this is one of those series where we would love feedback from our listeners. Just like you said, if there's something that you want us to cover that maybe you're a little unsure of, or other tech that you're like, I don't know, interested in, we would love to, if not have a whole, podcast about it, but also just touch on it, and maybe we even have some segments of Q&A segments. So, well, cool. Well, I don't want this one to go too long, and you guys, we're going to be kind of kicking this off real quick. Our next actual podcast is going to be very specifically at the Rehab Arcade. We're going to talk about it, how it came to be, what's the kind of goals of it, and whatnot. So we're excited to kick that off. But Katie, first of all, thank you so much for doing this. Thank you for sharing your vision behind this. And I cannot wait for you to take this over. And for our listeners, Katie is going to be the host. So she will be, it's basically a student takeover of OT Unleashed and the Rehab Arcade. So we're super excited about it. So Katie, thank you personally so much. And I cannot wait to step off, on this adventure with you.
Yes, thank you so much, Eric. I'm so excited to get started, and this just gets me really jazzed for the next episode. And thank you, everyone, for coming on here and listening to us. And we have some exciting things coming, so stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned. All right, guys. We'll see you on the next one, and make sure stay unleashed. Bye.
Bye.